Hello, I'd like to comment on another documentary by Gunnery Sergeant Ali Ermy. His documentary, The Longbow versus the Crossbow. It starts off very nice. He's standing on this ridge, the twilight behind him. He's got this English longbow in his hand and he draws it all the way nearly to his shoulder. Because he can't bring it to his chin, he definitely can't bring it all the way to his ear. To start with, they've given him a bow that's too strong for him. There's this bloke who's got these two bows, an English longbow and an American flatbow, and they keep referring to both bows, or even the flatbow, as English longbows, which isn't correct, but we'll just ignore that. They've got a very nice animation where they explain the basic mechanics behind the bow. It's simple, but I like it. It's very nice. Then he says, when the longbow first appeared, the best defence against it was chainmail. Well, longbows first appeared in the Stone Ages, and as that name indicates, metal wasn't really known to mankind. There were no metal protections whatsoever. He's probably referring to when the Normans first tried to invade Wales, they were confronted with the Welsh longbow. Yes, there's an English longbowman here admitting the English longbow used to be the Welsh longbow. We stole it from the Welsh, just like shepherd's pie. He does the usual test. Clap some mail over something, in this case a melon. He shoots at it, the arrow goes through the mail, through the melon, through the mail again, and he's absolutely surprised by this. What surprises me, however, is we see him release, and we see it in slow motion. And you can watch in slow motion as his arm guard falls off. I've never seen this happen in real life, you know. I've been shooting for decades. I've never seen someone's arm guard go flying off like that. And, you know, this is the History Channel. I would have thought they took more than one shot of him taking a shot. And they choose this one where he loses his arm guard. I mean, yes, in a way it is funny, but sorry, it's unprofessional, isn't it? He explains, wow, my bow is only half as powerful as a full English longbow. Well, a full English longbow would have 120 pounds, I do believe. If I halve that, I seem to end up with the figure 60. Because he says, what have I got here? 45 pounds? And the bloke says, oh, 40, 45. I think he doesn't want to tell the truth and embarrass him, saying, no mate, you've only got 30 pounds here. And I think he doesn't want to lie. I would say, yes, that's 45 pounds. I would be very surprised if that bow really did have 40 pounds. But let's say it's got 40 pounds. That, I do believe, is a third of 120. Anyone correct me if they like. He then goes on and says, well, the knights soon learned to wear solid armour because of this. Absolute rubbish. We're talking about the 100-Year War. The average French knight wore plate armour, basically because, ooh, this other knight, he's got this sword and he keeps piercing me with it. Ooh, this other knight with a spear, lance, whatever, keeps piercing me with it. The average English knight wore plate armour. Common soldiers couldn't afford plate armour and would wear mail shirts, yes. But the average knight had plate armour and this had nothing to do with bows and arrows, unfortunately. He then explains that you've got to be extremely skillful to be able to draw this bow, and he says, finding and training men powerful enough to draw a longbow was a tough call. Well, this sentence is absolutely correct and total rubbish. It's very hard to find someone tough enough to draw a bow, but that's not how you go about it. You don't go about it, hey, you grown-up man, you look tough. Do you want to join me and become an archer? What you do is you say, hey boy, are you 10 years old yet? Right, okay, this is a bow, I'll show you how to shoot it. Right, did you enjoy that? You're going to do it tomorrow again? Yes, fine, and the day after that, and the day after that. You're going to do it for the rest of your life, every single day. You take young boys and you train them. They grow into archers. You can't go about and find a tough guy and say, right, okay, you can be an archer. Because as the gunny found out himself, he can't draw that bow. You can't just simply give someone a bow and say, right, yes, you're strong, you can draw it. Doesn't work like that. You've got to have very special muscles actually, and if you don't develop them over a longer period, no matter how strong you are, no matter how much you can lift like that, you cannot draw the bow like that. You're using different muscles that you don't normally use. He then goes into the crossbow, explains the mechanics. Once again, a very, very nice animation here. I like it very much. If you're interested, if you don't know much about the subject and you'd like to know something, definitely watch it because the animation is really nice. I like it the way they explain how a crossbow is built and how it works. He then does the same test with the crossbow that he did using the melon to shoot at. with practically the same result. He's got some plate armour in front of it. In both cases, the arrow or the bolt penetrate the armour a bit, don't go all the way through. And you could say, well, this is due to poundage and so forth. Basically, I see no great difference, but he declares the crossbow seemingly as the winner because he reckons that for every highly trained longbow man you've got, there are a couple of guys with crossbows. Now this is absolute rubbish because we have no sources, no reliable sources whatsoever that give us any exact figures, numbers of how many people were on either side. They don't exist. So we cannot say, yes, at that battle there were 1,000 archers and 3,000 crossbowmen, so the crossbowmen outnumbered them 3 to 1. You can't do that. Because of course, yes, there'll be people saying, oh, they had 3 times as many people as us. And on the other side, they'll be saying, oh, well, yes, I mean, it was easy for us because we had 5 times as many people. For every battle, you've got reports which vary so much that you just simply can't say, well, we'll take the average and that's probably right. You can't do that. At the end of the documentary, once again, this lovely shot in slow motion, him releasing and his arm guard flying through the air. I love it. It's funny and pathetic at the same time. I'd like to end though with saying, even though I said, you know, he can't draw this longbow properly, he definitely did do some practice with the flatbow, because you can't just simply stand there, take one shot and hit a melon. You can learn to shoot and hit a target that size within an hour or 2. I've trained enough people to do that. I've seen more than enough people being trained in groups to hit a target, should we say, about that size, 5 shot out of 6, distance of, should we say, 10 to 15 paces. Within 2 hours, the whole group can do it, okay? But I think definitely I respect the fact that he did some practice before he did this documentary.
Like this video.
Please